Hello everybody, how are you doing? I wanted to talk to you about our month-long Awakening Yoga series, which we're starting this week. We're starting on the Thursday the 23rd of April, and it's a new moon, and the moon is a flower moon, the May moon, and we're going to follow the journey of the moon and her phases. And we're going to work through the energy centers, the chakra centers, and we're going to take into account the elements as we practice asana posture work, breathing, relaxation, meditation. Classes are going to be an hour long each. We're going to be doing 3 classes a week. It's fine if you can't do all of them. You can drop in if you want to. I am making a charge. Charge is £35 for the lot, which is pretty decent really, partly because it is a medium that we're all getting used to, and sometimes there's a few glitches. Yeah, and it would be lovely if you wanted to join us. The level, general level, I want to make it very accessible to people who are new to yoga as much as those who are quite practiced. And the reason that we're offering this at the moment, although there's some practical elements as well in terms of making a living, but actually that's not the real big reason for me to want to offer you this at the moment. And I want to talk a little bit about that now, if I may. So there is a huge awakening going on right now. And this awakening is planetary. The earth herself is changing, and the beings on the earth are changing. And whether or not you know this, whether or not you feel this, in a way, it doesn't really matter because it's happening. And I suspect the chances are that if you're here watching this video right now, you can feel this. You can feel this. You've been drawn to this somehow. You've been practicing yoga for a while. Your sensitivities are, waking up, or perhaps they're very, very fine-tuned. And you know that things are different now. So we could take this on lots of different levels. Because you could be sitting there saying, what are you on about? What awakening? All I know is that I'm stuck in my house. I can't go out. I can't do my job. I'm struggling with my family. I'm not getting the income I usually get. My holiday's cancelled. My mum's not very well and I can't go and see her, So, let's talk about this, So on a practical level, on a empirical level, on the terrestrial level, on the ground, okay, on the ground, what's the awakening? Well, we have all worldwide been in a situation over these last few weeks that we haven't encountered before. We've been told that there's a threat outside, and that we have to stay inside, and that we have to be extremely careful about who we mix with, what we do, where we go. Really, we don't go anywhere. So just from the very fact of us having to be indoors, okay, and even if you are somebody who is going out a lot because you've got to go to work, or you've got to care for someone, so you may not be stuck at home. However, pretty much everyone else will be, or many people will be. So you won't be able to go and have a drink with anyone. You won't be able to do any social thing, go to the cinema. So it's still going to be impacting you. And of course, the fact that when you're at work, you can't be close to anybody. So say you're stuck in your house, okay, you could, depending on your perception, depending on where you sit in this, you're going to be experiencing all sorts of new things, all right? So if you are sitting in from the perspective of this is really difficult, okay, so you're going to be experiencing and going to be seeing really those aspects of your life, those parts of your life that are difficult in technicolor. They're going to be really, really, really obvious now, because usually you can walk out, you can go somewhere. If you've got a relationship at home that is really difficult, how do you normally manage it? You've got strategies for managing it, these little things that you start to do and you don't even know you're doing them. It might be just going to the pub, or it might be going out, or it might be sort of evasion, or the little relationship dances we do. But in this situation, this oven, so it's like we've been put in an oven and the dial has just been slowly being turned up. So the heat gets more and more intense, or the light gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and you see your relationships, or whatever it may be, really you start to see where the cracks are. And that can be really, really difficult. And then you may, if you're this kind of a person, you may then sort of start to flip it over and have a look at yourself and start to see why, look at the reasons, start to investigate a little bit. So it could be that could be a part of your awakening at the moment, that, the difficult things are really, really obvious to you. Or, the fact that you're living by yourself and, you thought you were fine by yourself. Actually, you like your own company. You've always been fine. And then suddenly you're realizing, actually, I'm not fine. And it's all right doing Zoom, or it's okay having a chat, but I'd much rather be going for a walk with my friend and her dog. That's another little awakening, isn't it? These are all awakenings. Or on the other side of that, you might have been really busy all the time, chasing your tail, kids everywhere, working and do all the things. And then suddenly you find yourself at home, and maybe initially you struggle with that because you're so habitually used to running around. And then after a while, you start to sort of ease into it. And you're actually, I quite like this. I like the fact that, it's quiet and I've got some time to potter, and actually I could read that book, or I could do some gardening. And then you start to look in your garden, you see the birds, and you start to really look at your wildlife in the garden or the trees, and you start to have a beautiful natural awakening, like, aren't I lucky? Aren't I lucky? So you might be experiencing that sort of thing. You may be experiencing a spiritual awakening because you may be someone who's interested in yoga and meditation. You're listening to me now, so you may well be, and you might be, you might have been doing it for quite a long time, and you might have embraced this period of time, and you might have been doing lots of practice, and you might have been doing lots of meditation and maybe medication, I don't know, and you might suddenly be having that spiritual awakening. You may be getting involved with all the teachings around ascension. So the earth herself is awakening. The earth is changing. And we've all been talking about things like, time being fast and, just things that seem to be different now. I think about something and there it is, There's so much going on. And this is a time in history, and so many spiritual teachers are talking about this. This is the amazing time to be alive, because we're going through a shift. So you can look this up if you want to. The shift, the event, the ascension teachings. This is all about us starting to embody the higher aspects of our being. So whereas we have been stuck in quite a low density survival modes, where, and the survival modes lead to us behaving quite badly sometimes, and we act a lot from fear and anger and greed. So this whole shift is to do with us starting to move up and get lighter and become more loving, start to move from the heart much more. We're starting to realise that it's not all about the brain, and that the thoughts don't live in the brain. All sorts of amazing things are happening now. So many fantastic teachers, so many fantastic scientists, people like Bruce Lipton and Greg Braden, Dr. Joe Dispenza. Look these people up. And then, of course, you may be having an awakening in terms of, what really seems to be going on in the underbelly of our world. And you might be digging into some quite difficult stuff. And I've got to say, in some ways, I really encourage that, although it's a very difficult process. So, we've been told about the virus that's going on. You can start there and just have a look. And as I've been saying in lots of things I've been doing, you need to be very, very discerning at the moment. You need to be very aware of what you're listening to. Where are you going to for your sources? And why are you believing them? You know, just because you've been all your life, you've been told the BBC tells the truth, or, you know, the American news stations, you know, that they must be right, they're the media, or that, well, the Times has got to be right because it's, you know, it's a big broadsheet. You know, you've got to start looking. And so many people at the moment have been really looking and digging, and there are some revelations that have come to light that a lot of people are digging into that are extremely difficult. And from a personal perspective, I've been aware of some of this material for many years now. And when I woke up to it, I was much younger and quite newly into yoga. Although I'd been meditating quite a while, I was not mature, so I had to deal with it from quite an emotional perspective, I would say, and it was very difficult. And the other thing was that no one really knew about it. People were definitely not open to talking about it because it just seemed so incredulous to so many people. But over the years since then, things have just been sort of slipping out into the mainstream media. Bit by bit, things have been coming out. So now, while some of the information is extremely difficult, there is a sort of priming. It's sort of, you know, the land has been laid a little bit for people now, but it's not easy. And the reason that I bring it up is that really, if we want to move forward now as a society and as a world, we need to actually embrace some of our shadow sides. And while when we look outside, it looks as though it is all of outside of us and some of it is repellent, but we need to do the work, because whatever we experience on the inside, we see on the outside. And this is where, you know, you need to look into some of the quantum models of reality to start to understand what that means really, and also spiritual teachings for millennia. But this isn't a video about that. This is a video about come and join me. So coming back to that really. So a time of awakening. What I'm offering you is, you know, come and join us together in a strange virtual group where we can practice yoga together. So if you are navigating some of these awakenings, you've got a few anchor points in the week where we can come together, practice yoga together, and be together. And if you are new to yoga, let me just tell you this: yoga is magic. It's magic. When I started practicing yoga, and as I say, I practiced meditation first and then I practiced yoga, physical yoga. And I used to have a big emotional swing. So I used to be either high or low, up or down. And when I started practicing yoga, it was amazing that I just noticed after even just a few sessions, and admittedly I went into it, you know, full pelt. After a few sessions, I just leveled. I just did not have those highs and lows anymore. It wasn't so I didn't have excitement and fun, but I moved away from that aspect of your mind. You know, when your mind goes around in circles and circles and circles and gets stuck, and it sorted it out. So particularly for depression, for mental health, for anxiety, yoga is magical. It's magic. And for many other things as well, physical problems. Anyway, so I would love you to come and join us. And as I say, there's a charge for it, £35 for the month. However, if you are struggling a bit at the moment, and some people are, then if you just let us know, I'm very happy to do you some sort of reduced rate or donation. And if you're not sure about Zoom, then you're very welcome to try one for free and see how you get on. If you don't fancy any of this, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to carry on doing my videos. You can just turn those on when you want to. And I hope that what I'm offering is of some service. That's what I really want to offer, just to be here, hold some space in this strange virtual world. And please subscribe if this is of benefit. Please subscribe and leave comments if you want to, and join the Facebook group, and visit the website, and do whatever you like. Do what you like. Anyway, much love, blessings, and all the information will be below on the text of this video. Namaste.